Welcome to Weed, Wine, and Wheat Thins. I'm your host, Toni Adeyemi, and I'm here today with Mimi and Sophia. Hi. It's literally 102 degrees, so please bear with us, but we are loving it. Always excited to be here at the table. We have a really cool episode lined up for you guys, but in case you haven't seen the show before, we're a show that's all about open dialogue, opening dialogue, and having honest conversations, and we hope you enjoy it. And if you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back. We always start by going through their selections, so we'll start with the wine, because I want to start drinking immediately. Yes. Firefly Ridge Central Coast 2017 Chardonnay. Wow. A nice joint rolled by the wonderful Nick Tran, and of course a cheese and cracker platter with our lovely wheat thins at the center. Oh, there's a little bug on my glass. Oh, this glass. My friend Casper got me this one for my birthday and it says my name. So cute. Okay. Was not about to go in my wine. Nope. You thought.
Not today.
You thought. Okay. Sophia and Mimi have created an awesome thing for their capstone project called MIPO, and I want them to describe it to you guys because I think it has a ton of awesome implications for hopefully future of jewelry making.
So essentially MIPO is a company that we started through our capstone project here at Stanford. We're all about making custom handmade jewelry out of a mold of your nipple.
So basically, we take a mold of your nipple, we send you this kit, you make a mold, you send it back to us, we make a wax part, and then we can cast it in sterling silver or bronze and make pendants like the one I'm wearing.
Oh, this is yours?
This is my nipple.
Oh my
gosh.
It's in my bag.
And then these earrings are Gabby, what's her last name?
Gabby Piccinini's.
Shout out. I'm wearing somebody else's nips too.
Okay, so I just did the process, so I now understand it in a way that I definitely did not before, but I would love to like show them. Is this mine?
Yeah, that's yours.
This is my nipple. What we did is we went to a room in the house that we're at. What I had to do was like stir this. What's the
blue goop? It's alginate. It's the stuff that your orthodontist uses to get a mold of your teeth.
For retainers. You stir that around for 2 minutes and then you put this white ring around your nipple and then you pour the alginate on it and you let it sit for like 10 minutes-ish. By the end of it, you have this.
I'm going to make some wax parts.
Make some wax parts while we did the show, so we'll get to see you do that, which is so awesome. People that don't know, a senior capstone project here is like your final culmination of showing some sort of representation of what your major is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for the PD class, you basically
Product design.
You basically pick a project or a product or a group of people that you really want to study in depth, and then it's a 6-month-long process of going through the entire design process from like interviewing all the way up until like actually manufacturing it and making it real in the world. So like some people do Kickstarters, some people do like home goods things, a lot of like card games.
Some people cast their nipples.
Not many though. Not many.
Quite a few. Yeah, we actually found like one company that does nipple pendant. What were they? Elpin.
They make these pendants, but it's not custom. It's just like everyone has the same nipple, which not my style.
Everyone does not have the same nipple.
They don't.
Everyone's nipple is like their fingerprint.
Exactly. Yeah. We for sure learned that along the way. Just like we've done probably like 30 castings.
Oh wow.
So many nipples, and they're all different. There's no two nipples that will be brothers and sisters.
And what was your guys' inspiration for this? Because it's definitely unlike a lot of the other capstones that we're going. So like, what did you guys want out of this project?
So we started off with doing acrylic jewelry, and we were like, we want to make jewelry that's like funky and fresh and weird, and that will like inspire people to embrace their weirdness. But then Sophia had this idea, lightning bolt idea, and we just had to go with it.
I was literally like sitting around, and I was like, okay, some cool like weird jewelry thing I could do. I was doing a silversmithing independent study, and then I was like, fuck it, you know what? Nipples. That's wild. I've like done mold making before. I did a cast of my tongue, and I was like, what other body part could we do? I just thought it would be really hilarious gift for my friends. Like, oh, I can do my friends. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
And then I ran it by Mimi, and she's like, wait, this is so cool. Like, what do we do this? I'm like, yeah, Mimi, like, let's do it. And so it just like blew up from there. And
is that how we talk?
That's how we talk.
Yeah, nipples, let's go.
There's a lot of testosterone.
The nice thing about nipples is it's probably one of the most inclusive body parts. Everyone has one. Some people have 3. Anyone is eligible to get this jewelry made for them, and it would be literally their independent jewelry.
I mean, everybody does have a nipple for the most part. We also interviewed some like extreme users, so people that had undergone mastectomies. Yeah. Do you know Shep?
Yes.
Yeah, so we interviewed him. He's trans, and he had just undergone top surgery actually. So he talked to us about what that was like to actually like lose your nipples and then
do you lose your nipples
back.
during? So
yeah. So depending on what surgery you get, the nipple is completely removed, or you're able to keep it, or it like is vastly different from where it was before.
Oh wow.
So for his, he was able to keep his own, but they do look different. So he calls them his like $1,000 designer nipples, which was really cool.
Because also you can choose. You can be like, I want my nipples to look like this and like that.
Wow.
And like, designer ones, you know?
Yeah.
I had no
crazy.
idea.
Yeah.
But also like it's just like so humbling to like hear about the stories of people who have like lost their nipples.
Yeah.
And especially the breast cancer community. People are like, I'll never have that nipple again. In some ways, this product is like to celebrate, but also for some to like commemorate.
Oh, that's so
You know?
beautiful. And did you talk to people with breast cancer during like your market market research? Or is
Yeah,
that...
we did.
Yeah,
We did.
Yeah.
And the need finding
The
process.
need finding. I
There's
knew
so
there was
many,
like a PD
like,
word for it that I
define,
wasn't getting it.
I can't
Empathize, like...
I think the biggest takeaway was just everybody has not only their own nipple but their own story and their own journey. So some people like would never want to do something like this, but they find it really interesting. Or some people were like, oh, it would have been nice to have this before I underwent the surgery as a way of like remembering what I had gone through. Or the people that's like people that give birth and then breastfeed.
Oh, so their nipples
like,
change.
Their nipples change.
Yeah. Whoa, there's a really cool market here.
Yeah.
For literally like
Thought
nipple
about it.
memorabilia almost. It sounds wild just because it's not being done right now, other than literally you two doing it. But like, there's definitely a huge need for that. Our bodies are pretty much the only things like we have, like that we like will possess wherever we go. So I feel like when big changes like that happen, either it's a baby or it's a breast cancer or like whatever it is, it's almost nice to sort of have something like this to be like, yeah, like this is my body, it's changing, it's still me, but like to sort of have that memorabilia.
We decided to do 3 different abstractions for the nipples, so
Yeah.
you can choose. So you can get exactly, like you can get like full no
Texture,
abstraction, and then you can get one that's like completely abstracted, where it's kind of just like the form of your nipple.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be cool that people could choose based on like their levels of comfortability. And I think it's cool, like, because the abstracted ones, you can be like, oh, like I don't feel comfortable with people like seeing my nipple, but I know it's mine, and I feel like a badass wearing it because I know it's mine, but no one else will.
And like you guys had mentioned earlier to me that like this was also on the theme of body positivity. What do you guys think this project does with that?
So our big like kind of tagline, instead of just saying body positivity, it's really self-celebration. So we want people to do something where they're like celebrating themselves and enjoying themselves. And we really liked what somebody said during one of their castings, where it was like, you know, I can't decide which nipple I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do the left one because I want to show it some love. And that was so nice. It was like her least favorite nipple, but you know, I want to do something special for it, like give it a spa treatment, as somebody else described it as. And I think we've really seen that. Like I have inverted nipples actually. So that was another sort of interest in the project that was just personal. So instead of facing out, they face in. The cast I have right here, it's facing in. And then I have another cast of it where it's facing out. And so growing up, I was like, why are my nipples different? Like everybody else has sticky out nipples and mine stick in. I did a lot of research on my own just growing up about like different body stuff. And so I would just have a general interest in nipples already.
Extend that interest.
Extend that interest
and
share it
to
with
passion.
others.
Other people, yeah.
I almost feel like anyone can go back to a point. I feel like it's always middle school because middle school just
Sucks.
your body's changing.
Rough. I've been
Everyone's
probably sweating
really
more than I am right
mean.
now.
I know. For no reason.
Oh god, it was bad.
You should go into class, smells like BO, and you're
Oh
like,
my
this is
God.
normal now, you know?
I wore
all
this
of
giant
us.
black sweatshirt every day.
We
It
just
was a
were all
disaster.
weird and didn't quite have our shit
It's so
together.
bad.
I feel like it's hard to find someone that can't point to that one thing that they were just totally insecure about. Felt like they had no control over. Felt like this was different from everyone. Felt like whatever. And I think if there were more ways in which, especially early on, like how cool it would be if 7th grade you, instead of Googling, why are my nipples so weird, you Google, I can make a cast of my nipples. And like,
And it's
this
like
is,
something cool and like luxury and like
yeah.
the sterling silver ones are really nice, and so it's like it's something luxe that you can do with your weird body part.
I love the self-celebration. I think that's really cool.
yeah.
In a world where I feel like we're supposed to be super humble and modest, and I think those are really important qualities to have. There are some people that have no problem talking about themselves, and they know exactly who they are. There are a lot of looks at camera. I'm like, you know who you are. But most people are just so modest and humble. Like, there's really not a lot of opportunities to celebrate ourselves, and especially our bodies, as comfortable as we feel them. Because there's definitely been points in my life when I have not felt comfortable in my body whatsoever. And when you don't, it sort of takes a toll on pretty much everything else. If you're not comfortable in your body, everywhere you go, you're not comfortable. Because you can't like leave it at home one day, like, I have a lot to do today. Do you mind just staying back so I can get this done? Like, it just is always with you. So I feel like finding more ways, especially early on, to celebrate the weird things about us. Weird being
Normal.
weird to whom?
Like, what is normal?
like,
What is normal?
We don't know, you know?
We had a lot of those conversations because early on we like brainstorming words that are related to the brand to try to find like what kind of logo do we want or what kind of messaging, and weird kept coming up, and we always were just like, well, what is weird and what is normal? So that's something that we definitely like talked a lot about. And also just getting back to that whole like body positivity thing. We definitely wanted to embrace like everybody's different, like we said, comfortability level.
Yeah.
So when we were designing even the packaging, we're like, okay, do we want it to be something that's loud and in your face and like, it's a party, let's go? Do we want to include little things that say like, here's how to check for like signs of breast cancer? Do we want to be super educational? And so I think what we ended up with something that encompasses all of that, and that's just super like friendly and welcoming.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting because like I think we took a lot of inspiration from the Free the Nipple movement, which is like super sick, and like I think it's incredible, but we wanted something that wasn't as loud. You know, like I think it's really, really amazing that people are like, you know, like taking off their shirts and be like, it's my nipple, like fuck you. But like we
I
wanted
flashed
to
a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, we've done our fair share
flashing.
of stuff like that. But you know, just like we want people want like anyone, you know? I want like my Egyptian cousins to feel comfortable doing this. And I don't know if they are yet, but they might be, hopefully. We couldn't have done this a few years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And like today, people still think we're kind of weird, but like...
I mean, there's more openness in general, I feel like. Because of movements like that we're allowed, you can now have space to do one in whatever volume you want it to be. Because like, you don't always have to be the hashtag that's going viral, the like standing in front of the White House shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is a protest that we are glad people took on so that spaces like this can open where it's like, why are we making the nipple so taboo? Literally makes no sense. For that reason, like something like nipple jewelry seems less wild. It's still gonna take time for people to get used to, but it's like, so was interracial marriage at a certain point. And like, I'm like, now nipples to interracial marriage, that is like the comparison we're making.
We're so lucky that we are able to do this.
Especially like the resources here that like allow like for
the
this to
fact
be
that
possible.
we have even like a PRL where we can cast in silver and just do jewelry design. Pretty incredible, because I've been like making jewelry since like 6th grade now, 8th grade. All of like this amazing stuff right here to use has been really phenomenal. We get like coaches too.
Like literally, the woman Bridget who works with us is like the biggest badass ever. She's like the badass in marketing in the tech world, and it's like, how the fuck did we get this?
Do we have a kit out here?
Yeah, it's under the table.
It's under the table.
Oh, amazing. Okay, for you guys are wondering, this is the kit. It's super cool and would be so easy to like send to someone's house. The instructions are here, super easily laid out. Like I just did it. Like it was so simple. All the stuff you need also right here, and then they would send it back to you guys.
And then we send the jewelry back.
And then you send the jewelry back.
Yep.
I didn't realize before I just did it before, like how like DIY it was. Like it was like literally like, you can like do it yourself. Then you guys do the rest of the jewelry part. That's super awesome because then it makes it so accessible.
Yeah.
In the beginning, there definitely was a lot of that DIY stuff, though. We would show up to a room of people with all our gear in like
be
bags.
Here we go.
And we'd be like, okay, who wants the nipple cast? Yeah, you. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. And people would be like,
Testosterone coming out again.
I don't know why this is our voice. And people would be
nipples
like,
are
I
serious.
don't know. And I'd be like, yeah, let's go. And then we would do it. And people would be like, okay, now I want to do it. And soon enough, there'd be like 4 people lying on the floor getting the nipples cast. So
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Bring
This
it out
was
of our
the
garage
most,
and, like-
I almost want to say bougie. It's like so classy that it's almost bougie. I'm like, oh yes, this alginate on my nipple. There's nothing trashy about that. I could do a lot of other things with my nipples that would be a lot trashier. And putting alginate on them is definitely not one of them.
Sorry, it looks like I'm cooking meth. It's
We are
not.
cooking
This
meth.
is the non-lux
Here we
part
go.
of the
The
experience.
non-lux. Okay, while Sophia is waxing my nipple cast, I will have Mimi pick
Oh
a
my
topic
God.
for us
Here we go, baby.
to talk about.
Oh, this is a really hot bowl.
Everything here is really hot. There's nothing that is staying cool.
Oh, jealousy.
Oh!
I can start in one place. We
Okay,
can
let's
see
start
where
in
this
one place.
goes, but I can definitely start in one place. I like to come off as like a really chill, cool, oh my god, no worries, I smoke weed, like type of girl.
Horticulture.
But damn, can I get jealous?
Like,
damn.
Like, romantically, we talking?
I think almost always romantically. For me, jealousy correlates with expectation. If I have a higher expectation of you, then I feel like I have more chances to get jealous. If like a friend was like, oh, like can't make lunch today because of XYZ reason, I'm like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense,
No
like
worries.
whatever. If like someone that I'm like romantically involved with says the same thing and I think or I know that it's with someone that like irks me, then I'm like, oh, really?
crossed the
Cool,
line.
yeah. Okay, yeah, have fun at your lunch. Like,
You have fun.
I hope you eat really good food. My jealousy is in the term of passive aggression and coldness. Like, I'm usually really like this, and then when I'm jealous, I'm just like, sure, have a good time. Something I'm not very proud of, but I definitely have seen it come out more this year than I would like. Yes.
Spicy.
Senior year, baby.
Senior year, time to
We
get
get most jealous.
Senior year jealous year.
I also, like, for the most part, we've always been like, I'm so cool. I'm like the least jealous. Like, you want to go do your thing, go do your thing.
I
And,
feel like we're the same.
I will never
we come
say
as,
anything.
we come
And
as
then-
like cool as cucumbers,
I
but we're
know.
really not.
And then I got a situation last year where I was like, damn.
It's not until you're put into the situation.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, I am that bitch. But it's okay.
You just gotta own it, you know?
gotta own it.
And just be like upfront and be like, this is me, and this is just how I'm gonna be. And like, if they don't like you like
But I
that,
would say
then screw
I'm a
them,
pretty
you know?
like non-monogamous person, I would say. And so when it comes to like, oh, you want to make out with somebody at a party, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. Go do your thing. But when it's like you're spending your time
With that person.
with somebody else, that's when I'm like, not
Physical versus emotional. If it's just physical and it's just like, oh, like you just made out with this person, you just hook up with that person, then like it's over. Like sometimes people don't care about that, but when it's like, oh, you're helping that person move their boxes, cool, wow, okay. I'm a
It's all about
jealous
that
person.
DTR.
What's DTR?
Defining the relationship.
Oh, I like that.
I have avoided
like
that
a
so
lot.
far.
When you DTR, things never stay the same.
That's the thing. It's a changing conversation.
When you DTR, then it's like, we know what's up, you know?
Yes, you
And
have
then it
way
makes
more
it-
clarity, but it changes things.
I like to
How
do it
so?
in those like 5 minutes when you're like done wrapping all the sexy times up, and then you're just like, oh, so just we're good, like we're not okay, cool. This is just okay, great, awesome. No,
That
no,
is
no,
so
no,
Sophia, it hurts.
That is so Sophia. Like we're chill, we're all set. Okay, we'll leave now. Like we're good. Okay, good.
I'm more like, so are we getting married or what? Is this a one-time thing?
Yeah.
I feel like DTRing is always the best thing to do. However, I feel like I avoid it when like what is happening in that moment is good. Even though I'm a little confused, I'm like, I don't really want to change what's going on now. Even though I'd like more clarity, I feel like this conversation may change things. For me, I'm like, when I talk, it means there needs to be some change in some way. That's when I'm my most able to like be upfront or like whatever about it. Because a lot of times I'm like, we don't have to talk better for both of us.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This is just a weird time of the year with us like.
That's
leaving
the
and,
other thing.
just
We're like
important.
leaving, and then everyone's dating each other.
I
I'm
know.
like, what
it's
are
cuffing
we doing?
season.
I feel
What
like
are we
I feel
doing?
like in this past month, everyone is fucked. And like, it's just like, why are you doing it now?
Even people who were like fine in the last week were like, oh yeah, like we're just dating. I'm like, you know, we're moving out in 4 days, right? I think almost because people knew there was an expiration date, people were more willing to jump into things that they either like didn't before or like didn't think about before.
Which
It
I love
doesn't seem
that.
random.
I love that. I feel like I've talked to a lot of friends and they're like, oh, like I've made up with so many of my enemies.
Oh, that's nice.
This past week because I'm like, I need to like leave on a good note. It's really cute.
I think that's great. Hey enemies, if you're there and I haven't made up with you yet,
Hit me up.
DM.
Let's do it.
We'll see what we can do. It depends who you are. Some of you
That'd
know
be a
you
good
shouldn't
episode.
talk to me.
Invite all your enemies.
Get all
on.
your enemies. Oh my god, could you imagine?
I've gathered you here today.
I have like 3 distinct enemies
You
on this
do?
campus. They know who they
Ooh,
are.
yeah?
Really?
They probably
Okay.
watch this as a hate watch.
Ooh.
Not like a like
At
watch.
least they're
They're like-
watching though.
Yeah,
They're
it's
watching.
it's
Thank you for the
Monetized,
views.
right? All good
all day,
stuff.
every day, honey. It's
All
okay.
day, every day. It's all fine. It's okay. We all good. Period.
Periods.
Honey.
You know what's funny?
Remember, I told Vivi the other day, I was like, are you always on your period?
Dude, I feel like I'm always on my 2 period, but also I'm never on it. But Sophia just thinks every day is my period because I think I talk about it a lot. And it's like, oh, I'm bleeding again, and she's like, again.
For people that don't have their periods, I feel like when you say you have it, they think it's happening all the time. When I first started the show, I went to the beach with some friends and like they were asking what some of the topics in the bowl were, and I said periods, and it happened to be with guys. And it was really interesting to like ask them like, what do you guys think is happening? like, cause I'm like, I can't tell how much they like quite understand it. So I wanted a guy to pick this one out because I really just wanted to be like, do you understand what's going on? And like their like descriptions of it were like pretty accurate, but also just had like the idea of someone that doesn't actually have an idea of what's going on. Periods for me, in my opinion, they just suck. Like there's like really nothing good about them. You're just worrying about it wherever you are.
Yeah, but guys, we're 22 years old. Like, we've had our periods for like 8 years.
That's a long time.
Like, we know what to do. We shouldn't
That's
be
true.
worried about that, you know?
Like,
We're
honestly, I don't get my period anymore.
You have an IUD?
I do have an IUD.
IUD?
Yes.
You do not?
pill.
IUD all the way, baby.
IUD,
IUD all the way. Most people stop getting their period. I did not.
Oh, that's rough.
But it still made them a lot better.
Yeah.
And I can't get pregnant.
That's
Great.
a
That's
really
big
good
plus.
plus.
It's
Well
such a good
done.
that's
We love that.
If I could have got like an IUD plus that would have like guaranteed no period, would have bought
The
it.
premium.
But yeah, like a
IUD
premium
period.
IUD, that would have been sick.
I kind of missed my period though.
Why?
Because I bought a Diva cup 2 months before.
What's
I
a
got my
Diva cup?
IUD.
Is that the?
It's the like silicone cup that like you put in and it like collects everything. You can leave it in for like 12 to 24 hours and you just take it out and empty it and put it back in. So you like just forget it exists, and it made my period so much fun. And it was also just so much fun to talk about and tell people because it's environmentally friendly. Like you can reuse it for like 10 years. You just like clean it out and like put it in boiling water. And I just had so much fun using it. And then like 2 months later my period was gone, and now it just sits
You
on
are
my
you
shelf.
are a strange being. I've never
And
had
it's
someone like wants their period back.
I'm so excited
It's,
for my
also just, like, it's like a part of like the like life as a person that gets a period. Like it's
Yeah.
just like you kind of like.
I've never used Diva cup. I
You
really
should
want
do
to.
it.
Every month I buy tampons and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Tampons are the most expensive thing in the
It's
world. If you're a
so
guy and you don't know that, they're so expensive, it's unfair. I'm
It's
just
so
saying
Like,
that
you
right
should
now.
pay me to buy my tampons.
Do you have
Another
any
problem.
period horror stories?
Oh, what period horror stories don't I have? You just start getting lazy with the changing of the tampon or the pad, and then like the minute you
Don't tell
do
me
that,
one of those like it was up there for 4 days. but I
no,
didn't know.
oh no, I'm not nasty. It's just like one of those great times.
It happened.
Okay, in high school, before birth control had the heaviest flow in the fucking world.
Yeah.
So I remember being in Latin class. I like get up from the seat and I just see like blood
No.
all over the seat. You can't move
No.
for hours.
No.
Before birth control, like literally just like an almost uncontrollable flow. And
I'm
it's just like,
sorry.
which is why birth control is amazing and why it should be in every state for many reasons.
legal,
This is not
free.
fair. Fuck everyone trying to get rid of that.
And abortion.
And
And
While we're at
abortion.
it.
Fuck everyone else trying to get rid of that.
Only
Seriously.
if you want an abortion. Everybody
Only if you
doesn't
want
have to get
abortion.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want, whatever you want.
Do what you, yeah. do
But
the
it
best
literally like helped me. Like I would be using a Super Plus tampon every period and a half, and I mean like school period and a half, so like every like hour and a half.
No.
I had to change. That's how heavy it was.
Oh my God.
So how can I fucking control that?
Also, just like you don't want to be doing more fun things and going to the bathroom every hour and a half. Like instead, you could be like
It's debilitating.
hanging out with friends,
Or
like
getting a
learning.
nipple
or
Yes.
you know, like there's so much you could do with that time lost
And money
and money
and cramp suck.
and emotional, just like
Emotional.
distress.
Emotional.
Like,
The
I
yelling.
become-
That was always the worst for me.
I just get so angry.
I get so angry.
I
Like
get-
I'm never an
I'm
angry
pretty
person,
pissy.
but I'm like I want to fight someone when I'm on the period.
Yeah, pretty obvious for me when I'm on it because I'm just a little.
I keyed the wall one time.
You keyed the wall on your period.
What the fuck's up?
Oh my god. Oh my god. I think we end on that because how can you beat that?
Can't.
Toni is telling me to wrap
It
up
wasn't me,
also.
allegedly.
She keyed the wall on her
Allegedly.
period.
Allegedly.
That's where we're taking this story. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you had a great time. Come back next week for another episode. Probably less nipples, but the same amount of fun, in my opinion.
Hey.
Bye.